Mark Hernandez is the owner and founder of Peoples and Pets Energetics. He is the holistic practitioner that helps people, animals, and spaces that have hit the wall with health and well-being issues. He uses non-invasive energy medicine modalities and tools to help his clients experience change in a gentle and safe fashion. At times, they experience changes immediately, and in other instances, over time. Mark is certified in the Emotion Code, the Body Code, and Advanced ASH work, ASH work. He has talked about and demonstrated his work at the San Antonio Microsoft Store and at events such as the Body, Mind, and Spirit Expo. Please stay tuned for my guest, Mark Hernandez.
Welcome to the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Emmett Muckles. Please visit iTunes, Stitcher, or emmettmuckles.com to listen to all the episodes for free.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Emmett Muckles, or just with Emmett Muckles. You know what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to really hit home. We are in a time of cosmic shift. That's all this really is. This is a time for the world to calm down. See, we've been trying to artificially vibrate at a high level instead of internally vibrating at a high level. So we've been busy doing stuff, and this is a time where the universe has said, slow down, calm down, get back to basics. Because as you can see, this is what we need. We need to just go, take a breath. And remember, tomorrow is where your magic will begin, because you have the ability to predict the future with your imagination. As I said in the pre-intro, today my guest is Mark Hernandez. What's going on, Mark?
Hey, Emmett, thanks for having me. It's great to be with you and your community. We're here in Chicago, kind of like a lot of people, currently sheltering in place, going out for the occasional run to the grocery store, the local Target, Walmart, whatever, but we're doing well.
I'm going to ask my typical question. What brought you to now?
Yeah, so my journey to doing the type of work as a holistic practitioner. So it started out, the most recent iteration in 2007. At the time, I was teaching and working at a university as a college professor, teaching Hispanic studies, something I did for over 20 plus years. And what I noticed in my professional life, there were patterns that kept on repeating that just made no logical sense. Okay. So 2007, I finally said, okay, I've done all the left brain stuff to figure this out. I'm going to pick up the phone. I called my brother. He's a doctor of integrative medicine in Texas.
Yeah.
And so he's a medical doc, but does much more. So I told him what was going on. He suggested that I work with an energy healer in New Mexico. Again, this was back in 2007. I was living and working in Boston at the time. So I worked with this energy healer, 2 1-hour sessions over 2 months. And as I like to say, when nothing had changed in my professional life, that proverbial frozen needle on the dial started to move. That got my attention. Well, I was a little bit stubborn, decided I could still turn around this pattern. And I wasn't correct, but I learned for later why. Anyway, so I picked up the phone 2 years later, called my brother back, said, hey, I want to learn that energy stuff, because we all come into this lifetime with baseline abilities to do the type of work I'll be talking about tonight. Mm-hmm. And what I discovered that at a later stage of my life, that coming down to this earth, going through the cafeteria line, I was given extra scoops of abilities that was meant to come online at a later stage of my life. So with that, my brother suggested people to start training, certifications. That's how I got started.
Now, you're the founder of People and Pets Energetics. Now, how did the pets come into play?
Yeah, great question. So 2011, 2013, I was living and working in Asia, in Taipei, Taiwan, the capital. And I was teaching Spanish at an international high school there during the day. And on my own time, I was working on my certification programs, specifically one called the Emotion Code. The last piece of the certification asked that we work with 25 volunteer clients, and at least 5 had to be animals.
Oh,
So living and working in Taiwan, I hit the wall with trying to find volunteer clients. People, local Taiwanese talk to this crazy Westerner, wanted to do energy healer with them. So I was stuck for 2 months. So I was going, not sure what to do. So one fateful Saturday afternoon, a local Taiwanese friend called me and said, Mark, you want to go ice skating? I said, I haven't been in 25 years. I'm horrible. You know what? I'm on go. Spur of the moment. Met my friend at the ice skating rink. And inside that ice skating rink, the building in downtown Taipei, we saw all these cats in the window. I said, what's this? I looked, at first I saw that Mandarin sign in Mandarin. I go, I don't speak Mandarin. But then there was a sign in English that said, the Catzel, the cat hotel. I said, I knew I needed to go in. So I rang the bell. They let us in. Turned out the owner was there. I spoke with her, and she was fluent in Mandarin and English. Turned out she was a translator for diplomats, owner of the cat hotel. I told her what I was doing. I said, hey, my ask was, can you refer me to an English-speaking animal shelter here in the capital where I can work with the animals, helps them, and then helps me with my certification? Well, it turns out she goes, I'm very open to what you're doing. I have friends that are very interested in what you're doing. You know what? I'll book all your sessions, and you can do them all here at the cat hotel, and I'll be your translator.
Oh, wow.
What? So I went from completely stuck to within a 3-week period working with over 25 animals at the Catzel in downtown Taipei. So so when I originally started the work, I thought, okay, I'll work with the animals, but I really realized how much I enjoyed it. Pets had always been a part of my life. Animals had always been part of my life through many situations. And so when I got back to the US, I decided I wanted pets to be an integral part of my practice when I established my practice here in the U.S.
That's a great and growing market, because we are, especially in this time, I believe some of the pets are the saving grace for people's stability in the situation that we're in. Not only that, people are bonding with pets like I've never seen in my lifetime. I mean, I see pets with their own seat on the airplanes now. So that's something you would have never seen a time ago.
Yeah. I mean, just, piggybacking on that, even when I was living in Taiwan, and I saw that here, like 2011, 2013, I'd see the strollers on the streets. I was never sure if it was a pet or a child. Yeah, look, often it was a dog, really enjoying the ride. So yeah, as we know, people love their animals. The pets are an integral part of the family. For many people, at least in the US, they're like their children in many cases.
Yeah.
So they love their pets. They pamper them, which is great. And often when, before the COVID, and I used to go to in-person holistic fairs, sometimes people needed work, sometimes their pets needed work. And what I found is that 80% of the times, if they had to choose, they'd say, work with my pet first.
Really?
Okay. Yes. Yeah, they love them that much. And also, I want to go back to an idea you mentioned was that, people are really connected to their pets. Yeah, the pets, as we know, often they show us unconditional love. And what can happen is when I see pets that are kind of out of energetic whack, they can have their own life issues, and often they can absorb the energies of whatever's going on in the household. So there's some workplace stress, some fighting, whatever. The pets often take on those energies and get out of whack. And lately, over the last 2 months, there's been one little variant of that. The pets are kind of, I'm calling them, they're kind of like the signals. They're like the index. So they're showing up. They don't absorb the energies, but they're pointing me to one of the humans in the household that they need some help. So I do a quick little mini session on person. So I always like to say, I've always seen cases where people give their pets their emotional stuff or their energies. I've yet to see one case where the animal is giving the people their emotional baggage.
Wow. So you work with people, you work with animals, so basically you work with life.
Yeah.
And in that, there's this concept of the body code. So what is the body code?
Yeah. So the body code is a holistic healing system in which the practitioner uses his or her intuition and the body code mind maps. These are a series of electronic charts in which the practitioner identifies and releases non-beneficial energies locking in place people's health and well-being challenges. This system was created by Dr. Bradley Nelson. Dr. Nelson is a holistic chiropractor, medical intuitive. In his more than 25 years in a brick and mortar practice in California, he discovered that he was working with his patients that were humans, that he'd make the physical adjustments on the spine. Maybe a lot of your listeners have been to chiro, they work primarily with the spine, make the adjustment. And in some cases, every week, Dr. Nelson had to make the same adjustment over and over again, week after week. So Dr. Nelson said, what's going on with this? Why aren't these changes holding like I'd like them to? In 2007, he received a divine download, which became the emotion code. So the emotion code, this is the book I'm holding up, at least on the screen.
I think I've seen that before.
Yeah, it's been out since 2007. It's getting pretty well known. This was the first edition. So this is a book in which Dr. Nelson teaches everyone how to identify and release their emotional baggage. Negative trapped emotions such as anger, grief, love unreceived, over 60 negative trapped emotions. And so the other thing that Dr. Nelson created was the concept of the heart wall. Especially people, we all go through tough stuff in life where we get our heart broken.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. For a variety of reasons. And what the emotion code enables us to ask the body if there's a heart wall involved. Because if people have a heart wall, they're kind of going through life, as I like to say, behind a pane of glass, where they're there, but not fully present. It can cause people just to feel not completely connected. These are very common. Over 92% of people have heart walls. Okay. All that can be identified and released. The last thing I'd like to add about the emotion code, you can also inherit negative trapped emotions from the ancestors. Okay. So when you
I have a quick one for you. Is it predominant from the mother? Because that is that's your connection. That's your host. So whatever's flowing through her can flow through you, or does it not matter?
It actually can come from the father. Often it's going to be different for everyone because it's at the moment of conception, people can get these inherited trapped emotions. Now, you do raise a great point too. If the mother's under a lot of stress during the gestation period, when the baby's in the womb, the body, we know that the baby's connected to the mom, and so is feeling a lot of things the mom's going through in utero. But yeah. So anyway, the emotion code, 2007, Dr. Nelson releases and published the emotion code. Just real quick, there is a second edition now, came out in 2019. Includes a foreword by Tony Robbins, just a little bit more updated. So 2007, emotion code, identify and release negative trapped emotions. This was a big breakthrough. Dr. Nelson did those chiropractic adjustments. The holds were there much better. And he knew there was more. 2009, he gets a second divine download. And this second divine download becomes the body code. So the body code includes everything in the emotion code and much more. It tracks over 6 major categories of imbalances. Behind negative trapped emotions, the second most common reason people have their stuff is toxicity. Cell phone radiation, Wi-Fi, 5G, medication toxicity, vaccination toxicity, and much more. The third category, while people are really, really stuck, like they've done a lot of things and they have this lifelong pattern of challenges with money, it's the same pattern, they know it's running. Often there can be offensive energies in the field. By offensive energies, I'm talking about concepts from spiritual medicine, such as entities, evil spirits, negative thought forms, curses, courting, negative connections to people, places, and things. All these can be identified and released. So in a nutshell, that's the body code.
So when you say courting, how can you be courted to someone is this someone that you are emotionally connected with, or it can be anyone or no one in particular? You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be courted to you.
Yeah, exactly. So you can even have cords with your loved ones, okay? People that are closest to you. So like they're negative connections, or it can be people at work, okay? Even if you have just like a casual relationship with them, you can get energetically corded, and it can energetically throw you off.
I believe that one. I believe I've experienced that.
In workplace at least once in our life where there were some challenges in the workplace.
Yeah, buddy. So how does this all work? I mean, because you have to think about it. Human beings, somewhere around the 17 or 1800s, we had a choice. We could go this earthly bound and really explore that, or we could go the spiritual bound, or we could blend the two. What we really did was we took this earthbound path and we stayed hard on it. We developed this industrial revolution. Now we're in the digital age, which is still an earthbound thing. Slowly, there's a momentum for the spirituality in this world. It's bubbling under the surface, but there's still a lot of misinformation, in my opinion. So for the people who are stuck in the earthbound mode, into this mechanical, physical, 4D dimension that we're in, how does this all work for them?
Yeah. So for them, probably if they're very kind of left brain oriented, very logical, most likely they would not be attracted to my type of work. I tend to work with a lot of people that are readily consciously aware individuals. They're already been on their spiritual journey. They're in the holistic space that, so they're doing yoga, organic food eating, seeing a naturopathic doctor, chiro, and the things that usually work for them just isn't working with a specific situation.
Yeah.
So usually if it's people that are very, kind of 3D, very, want to see the quote unquote physical absolute proof, that physical test they can do to quote unquote prove, and need 1,000 pages of documentation of scientific, they probably will not be drawn to this type of work. Ultimately, the people that come to me, they know they're better and they see it in their own lives, the results. It's all about results.
Yeah.
I always tell people, if you're better or not, and you decide. I'll never try to convince you of anything. Your experience will be your experience, and you'll know if you're better or not.
My draw to it was one brick at a time. You get one little instance, and you're like, huh. And you get another instance, you're like, huh. And what really sealed the deal for me was I had plantar fasciitis.
Okay.
So, once the fascia warmed up, I was good. I could go about my day, but I would get up in the middle of the night to go use the bathroom, stand on my foot, and literally crumble to the floor. Yeah. And someone said, look, man, just go see my acupuncturist. I'm like, it doesn't work. And she said, look, I'll pay for your session if you pay your own, and if it doesn't do anything for you, I'll pay for it. I was like, I can't,
Hey,
So I went to see this woman, and she asked me a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
And she asked me everything that was bothering me. And we went down the list, but that plantar fasciitis was the thing. Yeah. Literally in 4 or 5 sessions, never had it again.
Great.
And she gave me some things. She was like, you're too uptight. Your blood pressure will drop if you just sit and be quiet. Mm-hmm. And I was like, huh. Now I'm all about the quiet, where I used to be all about gotta go. So sometimes it's a knock on the head that makes you go, oh, I need to look at this a different way. But, how can this body code help people accelerate their personal and professional growth. Because
Yeah.
to a lot of people, it's like, oh, that's just some hippy dippy stuff. But I know from my own experience that when I started adopting some of these ways, life got a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me start with the piece with personal growth. Maybe people want to improve a relationship, maybe in their family. You know, maybe they're one of many children. They've always had a rough relationship with a sibling. Okay. So I can work with the energetics of that relationship. So let's say it's Sally comes to me. She wants to improve a relationship with her brother, John. Okay. Sally can come to me, kind of say, yeah, every time I see my brother afterwards, I just feel like my heart sinks because I know things aren't right. Okay. So I'll ask her to rate how serious that issue. 0, no issue, no pain, discomfort. 10, issue to the max. But Sally will probably say 8 or higher if she's seeing me. So I can work, since it's a relationship, I can work on Sally's piece of the energetics of the relationship. John has free will, so I won't work with his side, but I can work with her piece.
Right.
So what I can do is I ask her body, reason for this relationship issue with John. Body will tell me emotional, 8 years ago, anger. Yeah. Do you have some anger? Oh yeah. We had a big falling out. Okay. You've been carrying that for 8 years, a ball of energy this big. Can we release it? Yeah. Let's release. 1, 2, 3, gone. Okay. Next reason. Oh, toxicity, cell phone radiation. Ready no more. No, release. Good. Next reason. A misalignment. Maybe the small intestine's misaligned. Can I reset it? Yeah, let's reset that. So I keep on going till the body's done. I'll say they're completely done with the issue or done for today. And I'll say, okay, Sally, think about your relationship with John. Does it feel the same or different? She may say, oh, this feels lighter. It feels like I actually want to talk to him. Everyone will have their own experience, okay? Yeah. That's just one example of how can help people with their personal growth, okay, in the area of relationships. Let me go to the professional. Another area, since everything is energy, as Einstein and quantum physicists told us many times ago, even I work with people in business, people in sales, okay? Yeah. Professional. So people kind of know if they're running a pattern, like maybe their sales start real great with whatever business or company, and all of a sudden they just kind of flatline for no good reason, okay? No logical reason. I can work with the pattern, and the body will tell me the reason why they're running that pattern, and we can clear it. At the end of clearing things, I'll ask them, do you feel the same or different? Oh, wow. Yeah, I just feel lighter. Okay, let's see how you do in the next 2 weeks. Track your results. Let me know if you're same or different. Oh, yeah, the next day, I've had people say, next day, I hadn't had any sales. I made 2 big sales the next day. Wow. And you get better. Again, everyone will have his or her own experience. But that's one example of how it can support people in their professional growth.
My wife always brings this up to me. She always says, she'll be touching me, and then she'll say, you need to go ground yourself. What's the best method for anyone to ground themselves?
Okay. Yeah. So actually, this is very important. This whole grounding, which is essential for everyone to do at least once, twice a day. So one way to do that is I work with God's source creator, the archangels. So imagine like a divine white light coming from the heavens, entering at the top of your head, which is known as the crown chakra, kind of going all the way down your crown chakra, down your spine, going into your heart, back out, all the way down through the middle of your body, the spine, all the way out to your feet, into the earth, from the earth, and you're connecting with the crystalline grid of Mother Earth. Bring that earth energy back into your heart, back out down the feet, and then from the feet all the way up, back to the crown. That is one way you can ground yourself in short order, okay? I'm currently getting ready to release a product called the Daily Energetic Hygiene Package. It'll be a series of energetically encoded MP3s to keep people clear, pristine, and sovereign over their body, their energy body 24/7, okay? And that grounding, which you mentioned, is one very important thing that we all need to do every day.
Because my wife always tells me, she says, just take your shoes off and go for a walk in the backyard.
Yes.
And I'm like, and I didn't believe her at first. And then I started seeing her at work. And then, I was laughing one day because like I said, it's a process. People talk about tree huggers. And she was like, no, go hug the tree. She's like, take your shoes off.
Yes.
Go and just kind of hang out next to the tree, like put your arms around it. And like a couple of days later, I didn't do it, but a couple of days later, she says, here's what it is. She's like, trees are deeply rooted in the earth. She was like, you're basically she's like, you're a science person. She's like, you're creating a circuit. She was like, where this energy can flow through you, and the tree is pulling from the air. She's like, what does lightning strike? A tree. It's looking to get to earth. I was like, wow, that makes great sense. So she had to break it down for me in terms that I could understand. And then I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Now,
can I add one thing, what you said about, if you're in a warm climate right now, you can go out in your own backyard.
Yeah.
Take off your shoes barefoot and just put your bare feet on the earth for like 15 minutes. It will recharge you. Okay. That's something very easy to do if you're especially in a warm climate right now, and you can do that in your backyard, but just another grounding technique. Okay.
I've done it in the cold.
Oh, okay. Well,
it wasn't snow. It was like about a month or two ago, but it's weird because at first you're cold and then your feet kind of just get used to it. And you just kind of, it's actually kind of stimulating if it's cooler on your feet. I want to get your take on what we're going through now energetically. We're going and that, I gave you my take on it earlier in the show, but what's your take on this pandemic we are experiencing in 2020?
Yeah, the pandemic. Well, I think it's a day of reckoning. I think what the pandemic is bringing to the surface, or actually not just bringing the surface, but amplifying longstanding things going on in the country and the world. Here in the U.S., we're seeing an amplification of the disparities. Like here in Chicago, we have our hotspots here in the U.S. of New York, Chicago, New Orleans, other places. But what we're realizing, especially here in Chicago, COVID-19 has disproportionately hit communities of color. Yeah. Here, I just saw something from NPR that said it had hit here in Chicago, 70% of the deaths from COVID were in the African American community. Okay?
Really?
Yes. Here in Chicago, again, it'll probably be different everywhere, but I think as a rule of thumb, we're seeing that, COVID has especially been hitting like senior populations that already have some health challenges, have compromised immune systems, but not exclusively. We've seen healthy people go down pretty short order. Yeah. So I think that's one thing. Two, for the earth, I think it's kind of a day of a reckoning that we just can't continue on the patterns of the way we're treating the earth, and it's going on. It's been really interesting to see stories that now that a lot of people have been sheltering in place, a lot of the business have closed down. Again, I know there's pros and cons to that. Yep. But let's just look at the upside. I've seen stories of the dolphins returning to the canals in Venice for the first time.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, the whales are like coming out. There's stories of like the elk coming to the parks in like droves like never before. So, and also a little bit in Antarctica, the ozone hole is being repaired. Okay. So, there's some encouraging signs. I think that Mother Earth is healing itself with this pause. And I think bigger picture, this is a moment for people. I think it's giving everyone an opportunity kind of reflect on their lives. This pandemic has given the opportunity to people to really reflect what is really, really important. I think for a lot of people before, hey, a lot of people have been go, busy, busy, busy. Okay, it forced them to pause. And I think people are reflecting a little bit on what's truly important. We get back to the importance of community, everyone kind of helping each other in ways that they can. So I think these are very positive things. In the end, when the dust settles on this 2 years from now, who knows what this COVID was truly about? I do think there are other layers to this. My own personal belief and my understanding from source is I don't believe this was a natural phenomenon. I do believe it was created.
I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, it's been a long time since we've suffered a plague.
Yeah.
And we're cleaner than we have been in any time in history.
Yeah.
And we've wiped out a lot of the things that, potentially could take us down physically. A lot of things that we experience now are emotional and things that we inflict upon ourselves as a society, as a world. But I think, you and I are in agreement that we needed to take this time to stop, because I can just imagine what Los Angeles is like. You could probably see across Los Angeles for the first time in eons because the smog is not there.
Right.
And it's little things that like I saw a turkey when I was out, like on my bicycle the other day. I hadn't seen it. A big turkey, not the ugly ones, but a big turkey. I was like, whoa, I didn't even know that they existed here. So, I think it is a reset. But I want to ask you, for those of you who are interested, what does a consultation actually look like? If someone's coming in, they don't know what to expect, what would that appear like?
Sure. So usually, like I said, people usually come in, I ask them come in with specific areas they'd like to work on. Let's say it might be something quote unquote physical, or right shoulder pain. I'll ask them to rate it. Okay, how long have you had it? Oh, I've had it actually 15 years, comes and goes. Right now between 0, no pain, discomfort, 10, I'm at a 9. Okay, what else is going on? I have a pattern of always getting fired from my jobs. No matter what it is, things are going well and seem to get fired out of left field. Okay, how severe is that? 9 of 10. Okay, anything else? Yeah, my foot, left foot has been hurting. I don't know. It's just been the last week. How severe? Okay, 5 of 10. Okay, so I make a list of the issues. So the way a session works, I have the person's permission. I'll tune into their energy field, see that they're energetically testable, means their spine's aligned, they're properly hydrated. Yes. I test on myself because the session goes faster. And as always, I ask for help from above. God, source, creator. That's where the healing comes from. My role is to facilitate it. So I'm connected with the 3 issues. I'll ask, what's the priority issue? 1, 2. Okay, what's that second issue? That's where we'll start the session. So I have different systems. Often people will go to the body code and ask the body reason for that. Let's just say issue 2 was the right shoulder pain. Say something misalignment, organs, glands, chakra. Oh, okay. Your chakra, your throat chakra is misaligned. Do I need to know more? No, let's clear it. Good. Okay, next thing, reason. Emotional, grief. 20 years ago. Did your father die about 20 years ago? Oh, it was my uncle. Yeah, you've been carrying grief 20 years ago. It's a ball of emotion. Can release that. Yeah. Release. 1, 2, 3. Gone. Next reason. Okay, so I keep on going. Let's say we've gone through things. I'll say, okay, your right shoulder was hurting. Give it a gentle test, gently move your body. Is it the same or different? Okay, let's just say it was at level 9. Oh, it's now at a 3. I have more, flexibility. Great. Okay, let's go on to the next issue. Your pattern of getting fired. Reason for that. An offensive energy, a curse. Curse energy was placed to you at age 10 by a teacher. Okay. Oh, I see that. I used to be, sometimes a teacher can get frustrated with a student, said you'll never amount to anything, and people can carry that. Okay, they don't mean it, but that can happen.
Oh yeah.
So we say have to release that. Yeah, call the Archangels Light Team, and we release that curse energy. Gone. Cool. So I keep on going and say, okay, how does that feel now being in a job? Well, it feels a little lighter. I was at a 9 and I'm at a 6. Okay, whatever. So I keep on going. At the end of the session, I'll track out how much change there was. So let's say the right shoulder pain. Okay, I'll say today there was a 90% change with your right shoulder pain. Right now, you're 10% consciously aware of 40%. You'll be fully aware of that 90% change in minutes, hours, days. 1, 2 days. Okay, and we'll just let it show up. and ask them if they have any questions. And that's how a session works.
Oh, awesome. Do you do any work online? Do you do any Facebook Live? Do you do any sessions, workshops, or anything like that?
Yeah. So first, I'll start with the Facebook Lives. Yeah, I host my own show, the People and Pets Show. Today was the 1-year anniversary of the show.
Awesome.
I did brief reflections over this past year, and I do live mini healings. Okay. I do 100% of my consultations remotely by phone or video.
Really?
So I can anyone, anywhere in the world. I worked with dogs in Australia. And today, one of the volunteers was from Hong Kong. So wherever you are, with your permission, I can work with you. So I do a lot of Facebook Lives where I call them pop-up mini healings, where people can just show up. We'll work with 1-year issues. We'll do it on Zoom, see how I'm working. And so I do a lot of those. I also do remote group healings. So people sign up. That's a paid event. And they send me like 3 issues, and I work with them in a group setting for 30 minutes. And like I said, I do all my consultations by phone or video.
What about families?
Okay, like what aspect of family?
Say if you have a family that's fell into dysfunction, like and working on one person is not enough. You have to work on the group. Is that a thing? Okay,
let me ask 2 things. So first of all, if a person comes to me, like it's, Joe wants to work on the family dynamics, I can work on his piece of the family dynamics. Often you work on one person, just the other dynamics shift. Okay. Now I can work on the whole family. I work strictly on permission. I need explicit verbal permission. Can I work with Mary Sue? Do I have your permission? Then I can work on her stuff if I have it. So yeah, I can work with one person of a member of family or more than one if I have their permission. Absolutely.
Well, awesome. How do people contact you or find you?
Yeah. So you can reach out to me through my website at People and Pets Energetics, ENERGETICS.com. There you'll find a lot of resources. If you're interested right now, at least I do offer for people that are new to this, I think there might be something for me. They want to kind of get a sample mini healing. They can book a request for a complimentary discovery session, which includes a 10-minute mini healing. Okay. Awesome. And if they're ready, they can book a session right there. So, I like people to know if it's for them or not. I want a win-win. And so, and then the other way they can reach out to me is through Facebook at People and Pets Energetics.
I have a different one last question. It literally just downloaded into me.
Sure, absolutely.
What is the difference between what you do and Reiki?
Yeah, great question. So Reiki is a form of energy healing. Maybe some of your listeners are with Reiki. So there are many different types of Reiki, but I'm going to make a generalization. Yeah. For the most part, Reiki, it's not exclusive, but for the most part, traditionally it was more like an in-person, like a person's on a table and the practitioner is doing different hand movements with symbols. This comes originally from Japan, I believe in like 1918. And they're moving, like intuitively sensing where the energy's trapped and moving energies. I think Reiki is especially good like for stress relief, alleviating pain. So I see it as, a great tool. It's one tool that many people love to have in their toolbox, time and place for everything. Let me add, I think my work goes very deep. Something I didn't mention, I also do multi-dimensional healings in all my work. Let me tell your listeners what that means. So from my understanding from God's Source Creator, our soul is having an experience in this lifetime. I'm Mark Hernandez in this lifetime. And I know, at least for me, everyone can speak for themselves, but I've had other soul incarnations in other lifetimes. I'm positive of that. So sometimes, I look at people's stuff. Sometimes people is in this lifetime, past lifetimes, parallel lifetimes, future lifetimes, in between lifetimes, off-planet lifetimes, unknown lifetimes. What I'm seeing as we're expanding the consciousness of the planet, and people that are on spiritual journeys are starting to feel energies from other timelines that used to be self-contained. Okay, now they're kind of feeling them, quote unquote, now. all that can be identified clear like that. Okay, if it's ready to go, and it's usually ready to go. So I would say my work goes deeper and is more comprehensive than Reiki. Reiki's a great tool. It has its time and place, but people are going to get more deeper and lasting results with my work.
Well, awesome. Well, I want to thank you for being on the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know how we depart. We don't. We just transform. Now, I really want you guys, especially in this time, to understand you are a billionaire. I've said it 256 times so far, and I'm going to say it one more time. When your mother and father came together, they exchanged some information and your mother held on to it. You give a woman something and she will make you something wonderful with it. What happened was there was a cosmic blessing that caused those two particles to dance. 2 became 4, 4 became 8, 8 became 16. For 30 days, we're just going to go for 30 days. And in that time, at the 30-day mark, you were over 1 billion cells and you weren't even born yet. And you continue to develop for another 8 months. So you were trillions of cells in a complete entity as you were intended to be on this planet. So why are you not in love with yourself? I want you to go to the mirror and I want you to look at yourself, especially if you get out the shower, because you can look at the total you. You can look at your God body. That stuff that you have on, that shirt, that hat, the dress, the pants, that's all man-made. Everything else is you. That's the most beautiful form of you that you will ever get, because it's this basic human form. You are a human being, H-U-E in the man being, which means you're a person of the sun in the image of man, and you're having an experience. So when you break it down that way, then you realize where you are. And if you don't think anybody loves you, remember there's 2 people that you can count on. One is yourself. Go to the mirror, look at yourself and say, I love you. And then if you have a problem and you can't really digest that, listen to my voice and let it be known. I love you too. Till next time, love you all.